Hello everyone, and today on Evolution of, we'll be looking at the lizard and their ancestors and how they spread to many different varieties in many different forms. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. The lizard, a reptile with cold blood. A famous creature that captivates us through legend, myth, and many other forms. From this chameleon who lives in the wild, to the bearded dragon who's a household pet. Lizards have become a huge part of our culture, from the Gila monster, and became adapted in many more unusual forms, like the marine iguana, a lizard that can swim in the Pacific Ocean, to the thorny devil, which sprays blood out of its eye, to the Jesus Christ lizard, a lizard that can run on water. To the Puerto Rican island gecko, the world's smallest lizard, only as long as a thumbnail. To the Komodo dragon, the world's largest lizard on Earth today. 10 feet long, with a poisonous saliva or spit to kill its prey. It only lives on 5 Indonesian islands. With all these unusual forms, like the chameleon, where do all these strange creatures come from? I think the best way to answer that question is to go right back in time, to a time we've never traveled ever before. "300 million years ago, the Carboniferous period. This is a time where the oxygen is 1/3 of the atmosphere, higher than any other time. And there are no dinosaurs. This is life before them, long before the dinosaurs. One of the first reptiles to appear was this Hylomus, but it had a lot of scary enemies to run from. Despite being only the size of a human hand, it has an ability. Rather than flee in water or burrow, it has speed and agility to help it escape predators, like giant scorpions that were as big as house cats. Hylomus was one of the very first reptiles. But in this world, the oxygen makes one thing different. With all the plant life pumping oxygen to the air, it makes bugs much larger because they don't breathe like you or me in and out. They absorb oxygen. And that creates giant, scary bugs. One of the largest is this, a millipede called Arthropleura, almost 15 feet long. It's a herbivore that eats plants, like a lawnmower. Our Hylomus is trying to find a detour past this giant. Hylomus lived for a short time period due to everything in the world that ate him. But Hylomus invented something much more powerful. Not just being able to run, but being a reptile meant you were no longer dependent on the water for safety. They invented hard-shelled eggs. This helped eggs be incubated on land. And ever since, the lizards did not need water. And that's where our next chapter begins. We're in the Permian period, 280 million years ago. It's still before the dinosaurs. The giant bugs are long gone. Oxygen levels dropped, which meant the bugs could not survive and handle change, which leaves a vacuum. At first, we see the amphibians, who relax by the water in a morning peace on a hot summer day. But the world invented new forms for the lizards. Rather than just staying reptiles, they took many different forms. First they got big, like this Diadectes, the first large vertebrate herbivore. It's related to lizards today, but it's not just him that exists. Other lizards took a new form and are much more related to us than you may think. These Edaphosaurus, these plant eaters may look like dinosaurs, but are actually more closely related to us humans and mammalian kind. The sails on their backs are designed to heat themselves when the sun is around. It's the first body temperature regulator, and makes them much more closely related to mammals. But it had another relative, much more famous. Dimetrodon, who also evolved from lizards, except he is a carnivore. His jaw and skull bones are very different from any reptile. Dimetrodon literally means two-type teeth, because it had canines and incisors, which no other creature has, except for mammals. Different teeth, in fact, came from these strange-looking mammal-like reptiles. Life may seem good for them now, but 30 million years in the future, in our next adventure, things change the exact opposite. At first, you may think you're on Mars, or another barren desert planet. But this is our planet, 250 million years ago. Volcanic activity has superheated our atmosphere, making the highest temperatures this world has ever seen, and sparking a mass extinction even greater than the one that will kill the dinosaurs. Mammal-like reptiles evolved, like this Gorgonops, who looks more like a wolf or dog, with saber teeth. He used to be the top predator, but the lack of food has brought him down. And Other creatures like these Scutosaurus are actually related to turtles, although they have no shell. Lizards evolved, split from mammals too, into these turtle forms, and a heavily armored herd is too much for this Gorgonopsid. The lack of food will make these animals succumb to the worst extinction Earth had ever seen. But if there's one creature that made it through, it is this little thing called a Diictodon. These little guys are herbivores, but invented a way of living in colonies and living underground, like naked mole rats and hedgehogs. They live in a hierarchy, and whenever the world gets hotter, they dig further underground, and they find roots that carry water and nutrients to keep them going for several months to several years. These adaptations will help them live past this horrifying extinction. And in the next episode, we will see what the results of this adaptation brings, and brings the next level of lizard evolution to something even more amazing. The end. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you like my